A mi casa, ¿cómo están?
Bien, bien.
Good, good. Belinda y Rosa, why do we do what we do as teachers and professors of future teachers? Why is it important to do what we do?
That's a very good question and something that requires a lot of introspection and reflection. I know for myself that I do what I do because I want to make sure that Latino children are successful, that we provide all the tools and skills to our teacher candidates, that they develop, not that we provide, but that they develop these tools and skills so that our future Latino children have choices in terms of their academic career, their future profession, and that nothing inhibits their path to success.
And since teaching, as you had said, Alan, and Paulo Freire says it's a political act, then we have to be there to welcome them to the struggle so that they can teach for freedom. You know, we have to be there as mentors, guides.
So I guess we're creating teachers who are going to be change agents for themselves, change agents for their students, for their communities, and for society as a whole. So how do we do that within a teacher training program? What is it that we can do to provide that?
You know, we've chosen the title of our book, Educar para Transformar, and I'm going to again go back to both what you and Rosa have said, Ellen, is that in order to be the change agent that we want, reflecting on the title of our book, Educar para Transformar, and reflecting on what Rosa and what you have said, and what can we do in terms of our teacher preparation program. And it goes back to when I said we can provide them the tools, but it's not just that we spoon feed them or we bank the information. We have to help them, as Rosa says, guide them through that journey so that they acquire these skills and empower themselves. And so it has to be very deliberate in terms of what we do. The courses that we provide for them, the field experiences that we provide for them, but also the other types of external activities, maybe we call them professional development or seminars that we engage students in. And then what's very, very important is that critical reflection or reflective praxis where they think about what they're doing, they think about the theories that they are engaged in and why they're doing what they're doing, so that there's always that theory to practice connection, and so that they can see the path that they're following and whether that in fact is truly what they want to do and how they want to achieve their goals.
Well, I think that's absolutely important, but I think there's one step we've got to do before then. Before then, I think that teachers have to be aware of who they are as cultural beings and as ethnic beings, because I agree with you, Rosa, education is political. In order to be able to do that, you need to be an empowered teacher, and the way you can be that is by really understanding who you are, accepting that whole experience that you've had, but that critical reflection putting it into place. So who am I as a person, as a female or a male, as a teacher of linguistically and culturally different students, etc. All of those things. So understanding your history, your cultural resources, and all of the facets of your ethnicity in order to be able to undertake that journey. So what do you think is important about a cultural journey?
Absolutely, because the points that you're making, it's only through awareness of self that you can be aware of others. And through this, and if you are then aware of self and you can be aware of others, then you can be able not only to be aware of the cultural displays that the children make, but you recognize them, you can adapt them, you can accommodate instruction to the cultural and linguistic needs of children. But if you're clueless, you can't even begin to see what's there for the person to see. So it does start with awareness of self.
Yeah.
To move forward.
Yeah.
And I think that to also understand the community, the families that these kids come from, how can you make that connection between school and community? So I think for us as teacher educators, we really have to look at the whole picture. It's not just the teacher in a classroom, but the teacher, each teacher is a functioning part of a community.
And I don't think universities do that as well. I think that the community school link, often, first of all, it's not there, and if it's there, it's broken. And I don't think that a teacher candidate, once that they realize the rich resources that are available to them and to the children in the community, they might look at the community as a deficit, whereas the resources are just so incredible if they have that knowledge base, if the universities make that connection more explicit.
And I think, you know, yes, you're absolutely right. It begins with that self-identity, who they are, and then that journey of who am I as a professional teacher, and that also leads to for them becoming not only culturally competent, but as we've talked about, culturally efficacious. So they understand the community themselves and their whole role and have that positive teaching efficacy. So
and that is why it's so exciting to do what we do. I think because we're at a pivotal point in our educational history, our personal one, but also in terms of the educational history of education for all students. And the fact that we are change agents, I think all three of us embody that aspect of change agents, and also that we recognize that it's political, that there's no way about it, but it is a political act to be able to open up all of these opportunities for students.
And also the world is changing. Our children may be labeled ethnic minorities, but they are a majority in population. They are our intellectual resource. They will be the ones that will carry this nation forward if they are given opportunity or access to opportunity to learn, because we are a majority. One time I listened to a talk by Henry Cisneros, and his point at the end is, do you know that salsa has more sales in salsa than ketchup?
And tortillas have overtaken white bread.
And what good is it if we are the biggest if we are not the best?
But that's what we're striving for, to create that.
But beyond just being the majority in numbers, but to have majority in terms of power, in terms of decision making and influence.
And that's why the intellectual resource, the development of that intellectual resource for our children not only empowers them, but it's the future of our country.
And I think that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's why we do.
We see the potential.
And teachers are the most important.
And not to mention we get this huge salary.
I think it's a tongue-in-cheek remark about how teaching is a commitment.
Right.
It is a calling.
Yes.
And then if we can provide then all of those particular skills and experiences for them to be able to do that to the best of their abilities, and also in order to carry out our legacy or our philosophy, which is that of opening up opportunities and doors for students. Thank you so much for coming.
I have enjoyed this great talk, and has really stimulated my thinking.
And poco a poco se anda lejos.
Se anda lejos.
Muy bien, bien.
Muy bien, gracias.